Welcome back, Drop Frames. Going in the second half of the show. Let's start with Nioh 2, because it'll be a lot shorter than last week, at least. Zeke, I'm curious, have you continued your Nioh 2 game at all after last week, after the pro tips from Co?
No, I have not.
Yeah, just from other games coming out or other things going on, or not pulled to it?
Yeah, just other things going on. Just didn't feel like Neo is one of those games you have to like sit down and like play. Offline games for me normally are um games that I can play for like one match, like turn based or auto save games like Slay the Spire or stuff like that, where you can just like play a little bit, turn it off, and then pick up right where you left off, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
But Neo, like, I had to be in the mindset, and I just haven't felt like it in the past week.
gotcha. Strippin, did you guys finish your co-op game at all?
No, one of the guys I was playing with had his college exams this week, so we kind of put it on pause until he is good to play again.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't want to do him dirty.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it a lot. But
yeah, Co, you finished it, right? We're both done with it?
Yes. Yes, I totally finished it and started New Game Plus a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm 15 hours into New Game Plus off stream. I think Neo 2 is a really good game now. But the reason why I didn't like it before is that I was treating it as I'm going to play Neo 2 with Neo 2's weapon set as a Dark Souls game, and I'm now playing Neo 2 as a Dark Souls game with a Dark Souls weapon. And I'm having immensely amounts of more fun. I'm using an Odachi now. I respec'd out of Switchglaive, which was a magic weapon, to Odachi, which is pure strength. And I'm wearing heavy armor. Completely different fucking game. I do not have any struggle whatsoever now with the game. So much so that I think I beat the second to last boss in literally 30 seconds. Whereas with the Switchglaive, I couldn't even use all my magic in 30 seconds. It would take like 2 minutes before I could even expend all that stuff. So it completely changed the game for me, in all the ways possible. And I think I'm super into it now. This is a little bit of New Game Plus, which we can talk about. But Co, what'd you think of the end of the game?
I really enjoyed the end of the game. Without too many spoilers, it did a lot that really surprised me.
Yeah.
And got me very excited for future Neo franchise exploration. But I really liked it. I thought it was very cool how they did it. Just in pure Neo style, it was a little bit convoluted. But you know, that's how Neo is. That's how it's always been. I really like what they're doing with New Game Plus, and I honestly cannot wait for the DLC. Also, as a note, I also spec'd into heavy armor to follow a armor set that was for my weapon. Actually, the only armor set I could find for my weapon, and it made the game significantly more entertaining.
What set are you using?
It's a different type of game. It's the oh god, I can't remember. There's only one that uses the axe that I found so far. Oni Shibata, I want to say. It's really nice though because it's a heavy armor where it's 7 piece, and the final set bonus gives like 15% more key regeneration, which is like the big downside of heavy armor. So it's a real fun set to be playing, and I love my dual axes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really cool, and I'm looking forward to not only doing more New Game Plus stuff, but definitely cannot wait to try the DLC.
I had a bunch of people in my chat when I was playing through the original, like the base game, new game, I guess, not New Game Plus, that kept liking the game to Path of Exile in a sense, and I'm pretty sure I shunned those people and called them idiots and didn't think anything that they were saying was true. After being in New Game Plus, this is very much like PoE Dark Souls for me. It's all about farming items and getting like that perfect drop. And what I'm doing here is essentially what I've done most of offline, as just killing revenants, because people that are revenants will ultimately kill themselves at the start of the level that are all wearing very good gear. And then you get their gear that they potentially could drop. And it's essentially just like farming maps in Path of Exile. I got a weapon in Odachi that has 6 stats, all of them absurd, and one of them scales damage off of my main stat at A+ rating. So I have like 1400 damage on my weapon, and this that attack right there, that 3 combo move, the final strike of that does like 4,000 damage in rapid succession twice. So I don't have issues anymore, and I can't be staggered out of it because I'm wearing heavy armor. So I just go up to bosses with the like second what's it called where when you die, the fucking clone jutsu from Naruto. What's it? I forgot what the ability is called. Yeah, quick change. Yeah, which is essentially if you get knocked out by a melee hit or a physical attack, you just spawn back in with like a little sliver of life. I have zero fear of dying because I just run at people with that, and if I do die, you drop in from the air and you can just spam your attack. So you do a drop attack, step back, do another quick change scroll, then just go right back into the action and start being aggressive.
And you can do that 3 times.
Even more
and
if
then
you have more decks, yeah.
Yep, and you can synergize that with like regen scrolls. And then what I do is I synergize that with protection scrolls, which reduce the damage to 0 while you're regenning. So it's just like it's a beautiful cacophony of like defensive abilities that just kind of like all come together.
So
it's very nice.
Did you ever use? I think they're called barrier scrolls. Did you ever use those?
Key regeneration stuff.
Is that the key regeneration? Okay, because that's what I'm using. I use quick change, barrier, and HP regen, and you just walk at people and they're just they can't do anything because they can't regen key because they can't put down any pools because the second they do it just gets evaporated by the barrier thing. So it's nonsensical. It effectively, like, a bunch of people said that this game is about finding overpowered builds, just like PoE. I called them idiots.
Oh yeah,
it's completely true. Like it is 100. I was effectively playing hard mode through and through.
This is one of the reasons. Like, if you remember when we first talked about Nioh 2, I was like, this game is incredibly difficult if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then when you like really start looking into it and see like all these really cool options the game gives you, all you have to do is take a few of them, and then all of a sudden the game is like ridiculously enjoyable. Because then you start knowing what to look for, and then it's like you can really start making something special with your stuff. So it's very cool in that regard. There's not a lot of games of this type that you can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's Dark Souls where the replayability is item based. Like where you're finding loot that has special gear on or special attributes on it. Whereas in Dark Souls, it just drops like one thing. What was that?
Have you done the boss farming?
Like the single one-on-one fights?
Well, so like most of the bosses in the game have like a set drop table with really rare stuff.
Right.
And some skills are only available through these bosses. So I've seen people just farm a boss for 6 hours.
Yeah, I had the streamer RNG take place and I got my like special weapon unlock from a boss and like 3 kills and chat was furious. But yeah, I've definitely gotten that stuff. And they're like the moves, at least that I got. I don't know if I'll use it in this VOD, but like all you do is hold down triangle or triangle on the controller. And your guy just swings the Odachi like this, constantly attacking until he runs out of ki. And then you don't have to pulse. It just immediately fills your bar back up. Then you hold down triangle and it just constantly swings at the guy like this. So if you're fighting like certain yokai, they can't even react because anytime they try to like get ki back by dropping a pool and you have a barrier talisman on, it immediately gets evaporated by your talisman. And then all the time you're just sitting there like making sure that they don't have any endurance. So
do something.
Yeah,
do something.
It's literally a spin to win build. It's great. I don't have any struggles at all in the game. It was a complete 180 from when I was playing Switchglaive, where I felt like I was playing the hardest game ever created. But it's because I never played like dex-based weapons in the original Dark Souls. So that playstyle was something that I had to learn. And I don't think this is the best game to learn in because it punishes you very much.
And what's even crazier, JP, is you can then take everything you've done with this, and then if you were to use a spear, you can do it about 2 times further back than you are now.
Yeah.
So like, that's one of the reasons. Like for new players, I definitely recommend spear because it is like the range is nuts, the damage is nuts. You're using heavy armor, like it is obscene.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you can do, there's other weapons that are like you did. You actually picked one of the harder ones at the beginning. If you want to give yourself a challenge, you kind of went crazy with it, like light armor and a switchglaive. That's a lot of difficulty if you want that from the game. So also like dual swords are pretty difficult if you go like full light armor with them. So there's a lot of malleability in terms of making your own challenge in the game.
Yeah. for sure. And
Have you guys done the co-op?
no, I have not done any co-op at all. I've in offline streams after beating it, I have joined like random games and helped them out, which is honestly like pretty fun because you join games of people that are struggling against the boss and you just walk in there and like absolutely destroy it, and that feels really good. But you've played kind of only multiplayer, right? Like only co-op.
Yeah, there's two. So there's two kinds of co-op in this game. There's what you're describing, where you go and you help someone who you've do content that you've done before, and then there's another type, which is where you progress as a group through the game. That second type is what we've been playing, and it is so hard and frustrating. It is kind of crazy. The mobs are scaled. They have like 10 times the health they normally have. They just that's how they do the damage scaling. They just ramp the mob health up so high, and the stagger meter. So it's really hard to like stagger these enemies and get the punishes. But then the thing that makes it really bad is in co-op, and we've been playing 3-4 player co-op. You cannot use the shrines. The shrines are not checkpoints. So you start the level, and you have to get to the end of the level and beat the boss, and that's the only way you complete the mission. If you die before you get to the end, you go back to the start.
But you can also res people. You can res your team, right?
You can revive people, yeah. But it uses one of your thingies. But if you all die, and like it's entirely possible because the mob health scaling is just crazy.
Huh.
Like if two guys go down, you've got one guy, you're fighting a couple of mobs, and they have upwards of 10,000 health each. So it snowballs pretty bad. If one of you pulls badly, you might all wipe, and then you've lost like 20 minutes to an hour of progress, and you're back at the start. I think it took us 3 hours to do the first mission using this co-op method because we would die before getting to the end and just go back to the start.
I will say I watched you guys like the missions themselves look difficult, but the bosses looked like
that's the trade-off.
Cake.
The bosses are so fucking easy.
They walked into the Owl boss, for example, and one shot it, and we're like, oh, I wonder what this giant eye thing. That's okay. I guess we got to go. We killed the eye. I guess we'll go and execute him. Oh, the boss is dead, and I'm watching just like these fucking motherfuckers.
Yeah, bosses are so easy, but it's just the regular mobs, the demons. They're just easy group wipe.
Yeah,
because they have such wide hit arcs, and they'll be attacking one guy. The other two guys are going to get hit no matter what, just from all the flailing. And so it's really easy to kind of wipe. But yeah, it was much harder co-op.
How does like latency play into that? In the sense of like, who is the host of the game? And I guess the other question is like, if they have a bad connection to the other players, will they get like hit by seemingly nothing because on the host, the mob is swinging, but on their game, that's not? Like, how does that play into it at all? Did you ever see any issues with that?
It does play into it, yeah. Like, mobs will teleport if the connection isn't great.
Oh.
Or the allies will teleport. The hit reg is pretty good. So, like, in my game, if Gmart's host and he's lagging and I hit the mob, but the mob's over there, it'll still take the damage. So that is not too bad in that regard, but like there's been a couple of times where people have just been fighting and then they get the mob teleports behind them and kills them because of the lag. But apart from that,
that makes sense. Well, I don't know. I did not expect to completely change tune on it, but it's a really good game.
Yeah, we're still having a blast. It's just like, look how much health this guy has, and then you get like one punish, and he's just back up again, and he's still going.
Yeah.
It's just, it's rough.
I'm curious to see, having played a little bit of New Game Plus and co-op, how that scales. Because on New Game Plus in the 4th region now with, so at in-game 160 armor is like the general drop, but it can go up to 170. But it's very, 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 very absurdly rare. Like it gets rarer and rarer the higher you go from 160 to 170, if my understanding is correct. But the mobs continue to scale as you progress in the regions, like it does in the base game. So I'm curious in co-op of that, if the mobs just have like stupid amounts of damage and HP to the point of being just absurdly not fun. If it scales well,
possible,
would be an interesting thing because I haven't done any real actual co-op at that level. I might try to jump into some more group activities to see if it's an absolute shit show or not. So
The scaling isn't too bad when everyone's on top of that game. The only issue is if you die to a boss, you don't get to just fight the boss again. You have to do the whole level again, and that was the thing that set us back the most.
Ooh,
that's okay. So that's why the
try on a
bosses are a
boss.
little easy.
that's
Okay.
deflating, man. That's the
Yeah.
kind of thing where when you all die and you're just like, do we really want to do this all again?
Yeah. Jeez.
And then we would try and speed run. We'd try and speed run our way through back to the boss, and one person slips up on the speed run, then you have to start again
Oh,
because you've already lost. The way the co-op system works, I didn't explain this, but see that blue bar on the screen?
yeah.
That is how many times we get to revive our teammate. So every time we revive one of us, that blue bar goes down. If we
Oh.
clear one of the Oni zones with like the weird smoke in the air, we get more bar back. But basically, like once that bar runs out, you can't pick a friend up anymore, and then you're on your own.
Like until you restart the level, kind of.
Yeah, so you're going through the level, and it's not just like if you will die, you wipe. It's if that bar hits 0, you wipe too. So every time someone goes down, that bar goes down.
Interesting.
So
Does the
yeah,
level
it was-
fully restart, or do you get shortcuts and stuff to stay open?
Nope, it's a full reset. You lose shortcuts, you lose everything.
Really?
You have to do the whole thing in one sitting with no errors to move on.
That's punishing.
It took us a
Damn.
lot longer to progress through the game, but it was definitely like, I mean, still had fun. It's still satisfying. You keep like 20% of the EXP you gained. So you do get a little bit of something for failing, and you keep all the items you found as well. It was definitely like I don't know, man. It was one of the weirder attempts at co-op I've seen.
Yeah,
I think
definitely took a stance on it for sure.
yeah.
I'm watching you do that. You're pretty close to the end of the game. Because I did this level on my last stream of it, where I finished the game. But I didn't go up here, so I'm watching. There's a Kodama up here. Is that why you guys went up here?
Yeah, we're getting all the Kodamas.
I
Except
saw it above
fall,
me, but I didn't get it.
and after I fall, the mission
boss.
ends, and I never got the Kodama. Yeah, so they laugh at me for falling. And I never got this guy. He's still alone up there on the roof.
Well, you got to go back for him. Oh yeah, you do. Oh yeah, then you spawn
there
the
we go.
boss. Yeah.
Yep.
I will say we talked about it last week, but I do want to reiterate. They use a lot of the same yokai, especially at the end, multiple times, almost to the point of like, really? Like we're gonna fight this guy again, or we're gonna fight 2 of these guys. That type of situation. They do that quite frequently. But if that doesn't necessarily bother you, and you kind of treat it like I have now after the fact, is like a PoE style thing where if you do a certain map, you're always going to fight that boss at the end of the map. If you do a certain level, you're always going to fight that boss at the end of the level in Nioh 2. It's not that bad. And I think that's what they were kind of going for in terms of replayability. So, because ultimately that's what New Game Plus is. Once you kind of finish the game, is replaying certain missions to get whatever drops you want, and finding kind of like that perfect build with the different armor sets and stuff like that. So we'll probably talk about this, I would think, later in the year. I think it might come back up in future discussions. So especially with that DLC. Yeah. Have they said at all when that's coming out?
Nope. I don't even think they've announced it yet. But everyone is pretty assured that there will be DLCs. They had some great DLCs for Nioh 1. So hopefully we'll see a subsequent suite for Nioh 2 as well.
Do you remember timeline-wise if the DLC came out before the PC port?
It did. Because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the PC version was like the package.
There's the package? Okay.
Chat, please correct me if I'm wrong there. But I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
Okay. Their season pass comes with collectors. Okay. So maybe 2 DLCs then if there's season pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Co was right.
Nioh 1
Okay.
had a couple. Nioh,
did.
I think Nioh 1 had a DLC I didn't do because I remember Man vs. Game, who is like the Nioh authority on Twitch. There was like an endless dungeon mechanic or something that was like a challenge that just kept getting harder and harder and harder. And I don't remember doing that. I remember doing some story stuff.
Huh.
But I don't know if I did that one. There will be 3 DLCs confirmed. Oh, cool. Okay, great. Yeah, the Abyss. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I will. I'm one item. I have to find a rare accessory that gives you -1 to set bonuses. for items
Oh,
required.
the yeah, that very
So I'm like, yeah,
so rare, dude.
yeah. So I'm trying to find that. It apparently it's just stupid rare. I've I've tried. I grinded the same level for like 3 hours last night that apparently has a chance to drop it more so than others, and I didn't see a single fucking thing. So yeah. Let's not do Alyx yet, because I want to talk to Zeke about something that I played, and I think a lot of people are also interested. The Control DLC. You jumped into it last Thursday, Zeke, for a little bit of a sponsored stream, and completed it in one stream. I played not sponsored, completed it in about half the time that you did, but I enjoyed myself. I'm curious on your thoughts on it. And it's also the type of thing where I don't know how much we can go in story wise, because it is kind of spoilery. So,
Yes, and
yeah.
I'm planning on playing it for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess good luck talking about it. Not spoilery. We'll let you start. What do you think of the Control DLC, the Foundation?
Yeah, the DLC is called The Foundation. You have to complete the game first, so you have to have completed the original like storyline of Control. But you jump right into it, and with a place like the Oldest House, which is like where the Federal Bureau of Control is set. I love the idea, or the idea that anything can happen here. The Oldest House is kind of like a shifting place. It spans like it's a focal point of like dimensions and that kind of stuff. So you can just like add shit on and go, well, it's the Oldest House, so like, yeah, it was hidden, or like the dimensional door wasn't open yet, and you know you're the new director, so you can open that or whatever. So I like that. It seems like it's like endless possibilities for this game and its expansions. And it's kind of what happens. You start after you finish the game, and then you go to a newly discovered place called the Foundation, and you play through it, figuring out why you hadn't heard of it yet.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself. Just give me a thumbs up when we're done.
Okay.
Okay.
This is also footage from the main, not the DLC.
Oh no! I just realized if I'm the only one that cares, like I'll just mute and just you guys can go wild.
Okay. Anyways, go ahead, Zeke.
But yeah, you start off at the end of the game. You're told about this place, Foundation. Part of the idea is discovering why you haven't heard of it yet, why this part of the Oldest House was blocked off, what's happening. You find out like pretty early on the reasons why that's happening. But the story does like it has all the lore pieces that are dropped throughout. It's just like the original game. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more of the objects of power.
Yeah.
I love just finding those and seeing those and stuff like that. I wish they would have thrown a little bit more of that in like they did in the base game. There was a few here and there, but maybe I tried to be as thorough as possible.
That was Co. I muted Co.
Okay. I tried to be as thorough as possible and try to pick up every single piece of like this, like the memos and the videos and stuff like that. For those wondering, one of my first questions was, my personal questions, and the audience was like, is there going to be more Threshold kids? And the short answer is yes.
Really? Okay. Not on Critical Path then, because I did not run into them, but they must have been side stuff.
Okay.
Unless I just completely missed them, which is probably true. I mean, I pretty much like the main story, like the Critical Path. So,
to be fair, to be honest, I found one. There might be more than one, but I found at least one. So.
Gotcha.
They added a couple of things, quality of life things, to the extension or to the DLC, and to the base game. The map is much more readable now, which is nice, which is a cool update. They have a new skill called the Shield Bash. So if you remember, you could like drag up like debris and put a shield in front of you.
Yeah.
And now there's an ability where you can take that shield and dash forward with it on, and it bashes into people.
I never even used that.
Yeah.
I never
It's not
grabbed the
super
shield.
great, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I never used the shield before, but this DLC, like there was a couple of areas where it's just like, oh, they want you to use the shield. Makes it like 100% easier
I could see that.
if
Yeah.
you know how to use your shield and shit.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of places where I was like, fuck, I keep dying over and over again. They're like, and Mike Chat was like, you have a shield. And it's like, I fucking never used it before. So it's like, all right. Oh, the other cool thing about this DLC and the new update, you can respec, which is fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can respec for like, I think it was like 30,000 space bucks or whatever the fuck they call them. But yeah, I did that, refreshed all my skills, and then put some points into the shield, and just so I could check out the shield bash. And also, it was part of like the sponsored contract shit.
Yeah.
You like
gotta
show the new
stuff.
shit off.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun with it, but I think it felt like there could have been more. I felt like it could have been more. There could have been more intrigue, more weird stuff. It seemed pretty straightforward as far as the mission goes. There was some cool stuff here and there, but like I said, the objects of power are the things that kind of provide like some of the weird shit that you encounter.
Yeah.
And I was hoping there was going to be more of that, but all in all, it was a decent DLC. And if you have the season pass or you got the whatever deluxe edition, you already have it. You just have to download it.
Yep. Yeah. I think if you actually open the Epic Game Store, it should just automatically already install for you. But yeah, I pretty much echo everything that you said. For me, I think you spent, like I said, 9 or 10 hours with it. I mained the critical path. I did not do the side stories. It was 4 to 5 hours for me. It was a type of story that like didn't overstay its welcome. It was never really like, there was never a drop in terms of what was happening. Like it was all pretty straightforward, all pretty paced well. And it just added to kind of the main thing of control. And we're kind of talking around a lot of the points of it on purpose in the sense that we don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I thought it was great. I'm super excited for the next DLC. If you look at I don't know if you saw it, but if you look at like the album art for it, the cover art for it, it's Alan Wake in the top half, and he's referenced multiple times in the main game. So I'm very excited to see where they bring him into the story. If you're like talking to Alan Wake, how all that stuff goes. Super excited to see where
same
that
universe.
goes. Yeah, for sure. So that'll be kind of the one DLC that I'm excited for. This was definitely not on my radar. It was more like, hey, I don't have anything to stream today. Let's check out the Control DLC, and I'm glad I did ultimately. But the second DLC is something I'm really looking forward to. Is kind of a diehard Alan Wake fan. But yeah, I thought it was fun. Again, this is not footage from the DLC. I chose to get stuff from the main playthrough of Zeke's for the main game. But it's pretty much the same gameplay essentially of the main game. I don't know if you disagree or agree with that, Zeke, but there's really not too much that they change. It's more about telling a story rather than changing up the gameplay. So yeah, cool.
Did you buy the deluxe edition of Control when you bought it, or did you buy the DLC for this?
I think I was given a code from 505 or whatever the publishers for like just the base game, because I did have to buy the DLC. I bought the season pass for it.
Okay.
Because I did not have it, so I think I was just given a code for the base game for it. Why do you ask?
I was just wondering how much it is, but it is.
It's $25. It's 15 for the DLC.
14. Yeah, $14.99 for just the Foundation DLC.
Yeah,
and then the expansion, and then if you want both expansion packs, the Foundation and AWE, it's $25.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. That's Control. I will also say, like, for people that are curious, Zeke mentioned it twice. You have to finish the main game. The DLC is required of that, and you can't just jump into it and you'll be completely lost. So if you haven't played Control yet, now's a great time to play it. Hell of a game. I think we all recommend it. I think it again was our game of the year as a collective last year on Drop Frames. So, Strippin, did you ever play Control?
I haven't. I would like to. So you've convinced me.
It's good. I'd play it offline. Yeah, Co, we're good. Play it offline if you can. It's a hell of a thing.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a lot of fun. Let's talk Alyx. Zeke, we'll start with you. You played Alyx on a base, like a first gen Vive, and had not a great experience. What? Tell me what happened. Talk about it.
The thing with the Vive is the biggest problem are those controllers, the touchpad controllers. These abominations. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible.
What's so bad about
someone
them?
like me? Well, a couple of things. Everything, like, there's so many different things on the touchpad, or so many different like controls mapped to the touchpad that I end up like doing different things that I wanted to do. Also, like, in order to move around, it's on the thumb pad to move around, go forward and to turn like that. But the thing is, with the touchpad, on the edge is not going to move you. You have to go like like in between the middle of the pad and the edge of the pad to actually move anywhere. And it was inconsistent speeds and stuff like that. So that was my problem with it. Also, one of the things that kept happening to me, because I'm that dude who playing a third-person action game on a controller will get to a boss fight, and a really intense boss fight, and then in the middle of it, I'll start sneaking because I click the fucking thumbstick.
Oh.
On accident.
Heavy
because I'm like moving around,
tense,
I'm like, fuck, and I'll start like sneaking around and like, no, stop sneaking, you fucker. This is an intense battle. But
I've done that.
The same thing happened with these things. The
side
squeeze them. Yeah, you squeeze them, and it pauses the fucking game.
Oh man!
So
they don't have any other function in game.
Trying to turn and shoot somebody is like and I would pause the game constantly.
Weird. I wonder why they didn't map those.
You can, I guess, you can remap them, not in the game, but in Steam VR. I believe you can remap them.
Gotcha.
With the Vive program or something like that. I didn't bother. But I don't know where else I would put. I guess I could put the pause like on the other thumb button, because on the Vive there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. There's the squeeze buttons right here, 2 buttons here, the trigger, the touchpad, and this button.
Yeah.
This button right here is like the PS button, so that doesn't count.
It's like the menu,
like the PlayStation button. It takes you to the menu. Yeah.
Yeah.
So remapping it is whatever. I just decided to get used to it. Now the other thing is, I feel like the sight and sound of the game, to what everyone with an index is describing, I wasn't getting that. It was a good VR game, but it wasn't excellent like people were saying with my Vive. And I'm wondering if that's because of the 144 hertz refresh rate, the better headphone setup, and that kind of shit. Wondering if that's it. But it seems like it would be phenomenally easier if I didn't have to hold controls. If I just had the knuckles.
Yeah. I mean, that
sounds like that would be so much more of a dream to play.
We talked about it a little bit last week, but I do liken the idea of like using a mouse and keyboard and using a controller. Like there's a skill set when it comes to learning those controllers. And even with the index, like I had to learn that skill set over a lot of, over the majority of the game. I didn't really feel comfortable with it until the end. So I wonder if that was the case potentially with the, I think some of the issues that you're talking about still might occur with the controllers on the index, but they are better set up for Alyx as a game, I will say.
The holding thing, though, I'm totally like with Zeke on, because being able to like just let go of the controller and still have it be like on your hand Like that is huge.
Totally.
That's actually one of the. I love that feature alone, with the Steam controllers being like one of the best ones.
Yeah.
It is super nice being able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hear him on that one for sure.
And
Well, and also like doing the gun thing, like how you like do the gun to steady it and do the flashlight where the gun is pointing.
Yeah.
With these fucking things, it's a fucking stupid shit show. I hate it.
yeah, there's some other mechanics that happen later in the game too that I could already see being an issue with how that controller is. So yeah, might not be the best experience. And I, from my understanding and talking with you off the show, it seems like the grass is greener on the other side, but you can't access that grass, so you're just gonna put the game away until you can. Like,
Yes,
it seems
exactly.
frustrating.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Now, okay. I've talked about like how much like I've shit on it quite a bit.
Okay.
With all of that, it's still a fucking good experience. Like I played it once and I came back to it because it was still good enough to come back to.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like say fuck this and blah blah. Like even with all the shit that I probably a lot of it put on myself or was my own fault, because of the squeeze controllers, like because I'm just like I tense up and do that shit, and most people don't have a problem with that. But all that aside, it's still a fucking fun ass experience. I will say the amount of relief and joy you get from going through a level that's like dark and in the sun and getting out in the sunshine is like palpable. You're just like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank God, sunshine. And then they put you right back in the tunnel again. I'm like, God damn it, I was enjoying the sunshine.
They do that like tenfold throughout. Like, I feel like the discussion that me and Co had last week, we could like double or triple down on everything that we said because of what happens later in the game. Because you're 100% right, Zeke. Like, there's levels that up the like stress that it puts on the player, that when you finally see that like ray of sunlight and you get outside, I was like bent over like like a deep sigh of actual relief.
And safely say, I think I've let out one of my largest and longest sighs in video gaming at the end of a specific level in this game.
Yeah.
Like just like, oh my God, it's over. Like,
Yes.
Like this is. Oh.
And are we talking about Jeff?
Yes.
Jeff is.
And I say that in a good way, by the way. Not
Yes.
like, oh God, I hated that it's over, but just like the feeling of like, oh man, like that was tough. I can let my guard down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the specifics of what Jeff is, but we'll use Jeff as a keyword for people that have played the game so they know what we're talking about. For me, Jeff was probably the most like, and I hate this word, but I have to use it, the most immersed I've ever been in any game in a very long time because of what it makes you like go through and like process and on like a mental and seemingly physical response to the level. Like it's crazy. It's actually crazy that they like built that level. It is in my point or in my view, like the pinnacle of VR. And it does not get better than that. And I think the game definitely peaked in terms of like gameplay within that level. It's chapter 7, for those curious, to know what we're talking about. But it was a hell of a fucking thing. And it wasn't scary. It was just like the stress that it puts on the player amps up to like 1,000. And so if you have access to a VR, even if it's like a subpar VR, like Zeke was talking about with the Vive, which is still really good, ultimately, definitely try to get to it and play, because it is worthwhile to experience for sure. And I will also comment on the fact that even if you've watched that on the stream, it's nothing compared to what it's like being, because I went back and like watched other streamers play through the level. Has zero relationship to actually playing it. It does not convey what it's like being in those levels, specifically with Jeff. It's a fucking nightmare, in all the best ways possible. Like, I enjoyed every second of it. And I typically hate horror games historically, if you are not aware of that and have not caught the show before. I was able to get through it even because of how good it was. So yeah, then the rest of the game, Koa, I'm interested on your thoughts. Like, I thought the story was great. Obviously, not going to talk about spoilers or implications of it. But yeah, I thought everything after that was really, really good.
There, you know, Half-Life Alyx is not only like pretty much far and away my favorite VR experience I've ever done. It's just like a really, really, really good game. On top of that, it's the kind of thing that was the whole thing was very enjoyable. The entire ending sequence was mind blowing for me. It was. I liked the levels. I liked where they hid the loot. I liked how the VR in environment kind of interacted with the player. Like, it was just a really fantastic experience. It is moving forward going to be definitely like the go-to. Like, oh, do you want to know what VR really is like? Well, you need to play Half-Life Alyx, because that basically is what VR is and can be.
Yeah.
I've also played many VR games that have tried to do it and not really pulled it off. So yeah, it's really good. It's really.
Do you
good.
do much VR stripping or any at all?
I do quite a lot. Yeah.
You used to
I
be
haven't
pretty
done
big in the
Alyx yet.
VR chat world. I remember you were all about that for a while.
I did a
that's
lot of VR
right.
stuff. I haven't since I moved because my office is actually a sloping roof. And I'm just terrified about what I'm going to do to myself. So I'm trying to find a space for it.
I'm envious of Ko, because Ko actually changed to like a full like 12 by 12 foot room. I was still in my office, which is, I don't know, probably 7 by 6 foot, so still like a decent amount of room. But I'm 6'4", and we have 9-foot ceilings here, and there's a lot of verticality in the game, and there's a lot of this, and there was a lot of my fist punching the ceiling. So you got to be real careful.
One thing to kind of mention here, like when I first played this game, my back right now is against the wall. This is the amount of room that I had, and like my mic, if I brought my hand down, I would hit my mic. So when I first did my VR experience in Alyx, it was incredible and it was really good. But man, the amount of times I punched a monitor or slammed my mic, or I hit a light at one point, I cut my finger, like my table. If something was on the ground, I'd go down and like bump my head on the table. I slammed my head into my wall once. Like, that kind of stuff is incredibly jarring, not only for when it happens, but it really reduces the amount of immersion you have in the world, because you see all this amazing stuff, but like, I have to be contained. Like, I can't just reach out and touch it. Throwing things for me was like doing this.
Yeah.
And hoping that my controller moved fast enough to make like a natural movement. So what I was able to do is I have a bonus room that has like this large open area. So I bought two 50-foot cables, an active DisplayPort and an active USB. And I got a huge amount of questions about this, so I'll go ahead and cover it. Yes, it works, and there's almost no latency. And I brought my VR setting into what's now about, I actually measured it, I think it's like a 15 by 20 foot environment.
Nice.
And like being able to fully move around. And also I set it so if I actually got near boundaries, they would light up in the game. So I know, like, if I get even close to something, like, I get a lot of notifications in the headset, and I can just take a few steps back and it's fine. But it is a night and day difference being able to play the game in a full environment. It made the game so much more immersive and enjoyable. Like, I could do anything I wanted to in the game. Like, at one point I was in a firefight. I got down on my stomach so I could look under a car, and I fired under the car at the enemy's head that was far enough back to hit him. And then I stood up and pulled the door open, stuck my head out of the door window, like around the front of the car. Like, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. So if you are in a position where you can do that, it's 100% worth it.
Yeah. I will. It's at the end of the game, when you said you were able to do full throws. Let me tell you how bad that sucked in an enclosed office.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because I was so afraid that I was going to, I got a glass door right there. I got drywall all around me.
This is when I learned how to fight head crabs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was so afraid that I was
going to... Wait till they jump at you.
Yeah. I was so afraid I was going to punch straight through the wall, man. Because you're doing full motion, like a fucking baseball pitcher type maneuvers. And I'm going I hope... Throw the fucking thing. Throw it.
At one point, I had my back to a car, right? And I had a grenade, and I was like doing overhead lobs. So you could just be like, woo,
Yeah.
like
God, full
over
motion
the
on that
top
would
of
be
the
so
car,
good.
and throw them like down, so you could go like over the car and then down into where the enemies were, and that was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, I can't tell you how much fun I had with head crabs, catching them in the air and then shooting them like that.
Yeah.
That was such a cool thing, especially the armored head crabs. It got to the point where it was just like you wait for them to jump, then if you can get that front right leg, they just hang there with their weak point. You're just like, boop.
Yeah, I do think that Zeke is absolutely correct in terms of the controllers, specifically with Chapter 7 with Jeff, because of the parameters around how that level works. If the controller is not seemingly an extension of my arm, that level isn't hitting as hard as it did.
Oh yeah.
So I can definitely see Zeke's point with that, and I'm kind of glad that you're going to be able to experience that. Hopefully, with getting trying to find an index to play it on, or waiting for an index, I should say.
Good
Speaking
time
of
to
that,
mention it.
Yeah.
In case okay, good. I was gonna say
That's
in
a
case you don't mention
segue
it, go ahead.
for Zeke's pitch.
I tweeted this out, but in case you didn't see it, if you out there have an index that you are willing to, and I want like the whole thing, like I want the knuckles, the headset, and the sensors or whatever. Unless you don't need this, can I use my Vive sensors and it's the same thing or not?
You can
Okay.
if they're both the old ones, but you want the new ones. You can
Okay.
use
Mine
the old
didn't detect.
sensors. Oh, really?
If you have an index setup that you like, the entire setup, the knuckles, the head, and the headset, and the sensors, if you have one of those that you are willing to sell, rent, or let me borrow, in the case of borrowing, I will pay shipping both ways. Send me an email to zeke3tv@gmail.com, because I don't think there's any other way I'm going to get one until September.
Yeah.
So
I'm waiting
if
for
you
mine
have
right now.
one,
I got a couple weeks left on the shipping.
So how does it
let
work?
me know.
How does it work right now? If you buy it on Steam, are you just kind of put into a queue and they get to you whenever they get to you? Like you're
I don't even
essentially.
think you can buy it. Last I looked, the button
You
was
can
grayed out.
you can right now, yeah. If you buy it,
Man.
they have they say that the shipping will take between 7 and 8 weeks, and then when it's ready to ship, you'll get an email where you go to like a product page and you know finish
Gotcha.
up your thing. But literally, you click
There it
buy,
is, yeah.
it goes cool. We will message you in 8 weeks, and then you wait,
Yeah.
and that is what happens.
Huh. Well,
So, a lot of demand. A lot of
Yep.
demand.
Okay,
right
it says, notice, due to high demand, our current estimated ship date is more than 8 weeks. All orders will be
Ooh.
processed in the order they are received. We will reach out to confirm payment and shipment information when your order is ready to ship. Upon completion of your order, you also receive Half-Life Alyx.
yeah, you get it. You get a free
That's
design index. That is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
put mine in about 6 weeks ago, so I'm holding out.
when they first went on sale again. Is that
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happened?
yeah.
It's crazy, by the way, to speak to that for a second. Hardware right now with everyone staying home is fucking hard to get. I had to like sit there and snipe a monitor on Amazon yesterday for about 6 hours because like 20 of them would go up on Amazon, and then like within seemingly 30 seconds you would click like add to cart and they would just be gone. Someone had already bought them all. And that's happening with like almost every piece of hardware that I can see. Switches are impossible to get right now. Everyone's jumping in on the animal craze. They're like really hard to find. Everyone's just staying at home and buying different pieces of hardware to work on. So it's tough for sure for a lot of that. And then you also have the people buying everything in bulk just to resell them as a reseller for more. That's also a thing that sucks. So yeah. Anyways, Strippin, how is this thing that you've been playing?
This thing?
This thing
Oh,
right here.
what?
That's not Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, Phantasy Star Online too.
Yeah. How is that?
I enjoy it a lot. This game came out 8 years ago in Japan. It has a pretty big British following. There's some like translation patches and stuff. They said it would come to the West, but it never did. Xbox paid for the port for the West, and it's currently in open beta. It's free on Xbox, and it's coming to Windows 10 soon. Yeah, it's. I would describe it as the Japanese equivalent of World of Warcraft. It's like an MMO that has just spanned a decade, has so much content, and they're bringing it over here. They're giving you all the content pretty much at once. Yeah, I'm a big fan. PSO is kind of what inspired Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like,
Fantasy,
pitch
yeah.
this game.
So Fantasy Star Online it kind of started before Monster Hunter and kind of like inspired that like 4-player go into a lobby, kill monsters kind of genre. It's a little more different. This PSO2 is like a lot more active combat. So you know there'll be hundreds of enemies. You find yourself like the combat is very anime. So like you can see here, like you can do a lot of stuff without ever touching the ground. So I could maybe stay in the air for like 5-6 minutes with this gunner build I'm doing. And it's a loot farming game. So there are very rare weapons that have like 1 in 50,000 chance to drop, and you reach end game, and then you grind out these bosses and these scenarios, and you grind for these super rare weapons, and then the rare weapons roll stats, and you maybe want better stats, and it's a huge end game of like just perfecting this super rare gear that you can get, and they have events every few hours. It's very active MMO, very involved. I don't know what it's going to be like in the UK. Hopefully there'll be enough interest that people will play it and it will do well. I can't really say. I know a lot of people have spent years playing the Japanese version, even though they're American and English,
Right.
so they're not interested in moving over. The payment model is a little bit different. It's like a little bit less pay to win. Not pay to win per se, but in Japan, like you have to buy like magazines for cosmetics and all this stuff. It's not like that. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's probably not super engaging for a Twitch game. I'll probably play it a lot off stream.
Yeah.
Just like for fun.
A lot of people playing it. Like, is it a pretty active community?
Right now, not really, because they've Xbox have kind of like they paid for it to come over to the West and then said it's only on Xbox. So you need an Xbox just to play the beta. It's coming to Windows 10, but they
that's what I was about to ask. Like
have
the Windows 10 thing. How's that work?
It's coming to Windows 10, but like they deliberately haven't said when, because they want people to play on Xbox. They want people to commit to like Xbox Live and buy the console or use the console. It is coming to PS4 as well. They made a statement saying it was going to be everywhere eventually. But Xbox very much are like, we have brought this to the West, so we're going to monopolize it and we're going to make people pay for it before it's free. So if you have an Xbox and you want to try it, I think it's really fun. If you don't, I would just wait, because it's going to be on PC eventually.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, it's just called Phantasy Star Online too.
Yeah. This has always been that one game that kind of like what you said, where they have fan translations and stuff like that, but you had to play on Japanese servers and all that shit.
Definitely got a bit of a cult following. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It has always appealed to me as something that I could get into, but every time that it was possible to get into it, there was something else out that I was playing. So, yeah,
that's definitely a situation. Yeah, I only kind of got into it because there wasn't anything going on,
right?
Because Last Oasis got suspended, so
yeah,
I was like, well, I'll try PSO.
Yeah, cool. Zeke, you did an Indie Sunday. You want to talk about it?
Nah.
All right, let's do some news.
Yeah, dude.
Well, there you go.
About it.
Yeah. Let me bring it up here. You played 6 different games, or 5 different games, it looks like. The first one was a game called Mosaic.
Yeah, Mosaic. I've been wanting to play this for a while, and it was up for because my Indie Sunday structure is I pick the first game that I play, and then I have a menu of like between 6 and 8 games. We go through the trailers at the start of the stream, and then people vote on what they want to what I play next. Because this is not it though. This is World of Horror.
Oh, really? Did you? I guess you started with Mosaic and then went to it later?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. No, that's your intro.
No, I started with Mosaic. Keep going. I blather for a while. Yeah, my sound wasn't working for some fucking reason. There we go. Now that's Mosaic. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, my sound wasn't working. So, because hooking up the Vive was jockeying around like my preferred audio, blah, blah, blah.
Happens.
Anyway, so yeah, Mosaic was on the menu for a while, but no one ever voted it in because some games don't get like, they'll go for a couple of weeks and never actually get played. So I was like, you know what? I want to play it. I want to check it out. And I can see why people didn't vote for it because it's really slow paced. It's a Groundhog Day kind of a situation. It's not like you repeat the same day, but like it's like the Nine Inch Nails song. Like every day is exactly the same because you get up, brush your teeth, do your tie, comb your hair, go to the office, and it moves pretty slowly. The thing that this game suffers from, two big things. One, not enough content. For being, let me see. I think it's 1999, and there is, even in the blurb, this is what it says on Steam. Enter a world that's utterly surreal and eerily familiar. Escape the mundanity of your existence in an experience that will stay with you. Mosaic is a narrative-driven modern adventure game with a story that lasts about 2 to 3 hours. They even say it lasts about 2 to 3 hours, and it's $20. So, kind of a lot for 2 to 3 hours of content. So that's what it suffers from. Not a lot of content, and it also suffers from being really slow paced. Like, and I'm not saying I don't mind slow paced stuff. I don't mind stuff done for exposition, but it's the difference between putting it like acting terms. You can say your lines slow, but if the cue pickups, meaning the next person to talk, is not fast, it's going to be fucking boring. So if you have someone who talks kind of slowly, that's fine. But then if there's giant pauses in between the next fucking line, that's what this is. It's like,
sure,
between areas are really long, like unnecessarily long. There's a butterfly section. If you guys watched it, if you guys were there during my stream, there's a butterfly section that I was just like, okay, I get it. Oh God, I get it. Please just fucking like, you don't have to do that to set the scene. There's something to be said about setting the scene and then overstaying your fucking welcome. And this has a little bit of that from time to time. I didn't end up finishing it because I was like, this is bringing me down, man. Because it's also the subject matter is kind of a bummer. Yeah. So I switched. I only played it for like an hour, and I was like, nah. Moved on. So I moved on.
Gotcha. And you moved on to the game we were looking at earlier, which is not that. That's the butterfly section.
Yep. This is it. Yeah.
Oh, that was it. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. World of Horror.
World of Horror, on the other hand, was fucking great. I had a blast playing this. And for those of you who are in the know, yes, this is the blurb. Experience the quiet terror of this 1-bit love letter to Junji Ito and H.P. Lovecraft. So yes, they acknowledge that they are. This is a love letter to those two people. Navigate a hellish roguelite reality with turn-based combat and unforgiving choices. Experiment with your deck of event cards to discover new forms of cosmic horror in every playthrough. The inevitable awaits. The game is called World of Horror. It's developed by Phantasy, and I'm not sure to say it, Phantastasz. I'm not sure to say that, but it's published by Ysbryd Games, YSBRYD Games. It's the starting, like looking at the starting screen, you're like, wow, there's a lot of information like right there. But the tutorial that they put in the game is pretty good about explaining what's going on, what's important, what you need to look at and stuff like that. So it can be daunting to look at like right away. But if you go through the tutorial, you know exactly what's important. Not everything on the screen is interactable at all times. So you learn what parts of the screen to look at specific times and stuff. I did find myself going, what am I looking at? What happened? And right beside me on the bottom of the screen, there's the event log. That's important. It shows what's happening. It's like, you walked here. This guy hit you with a bottle. You did this in return and blah, blah, blah. So the event log is super important for figuring out like what exactly is going on. The music in it is fantastic, chiptune, like old computer game music. It's really well done. I really had a blast listening to it. The atmosphere is delightfully weird and like horror based, Lovecraftian, Edo kind of stuff. And it's I played it for I think a little over an hour and a half, and I really enjoyed it. The missions clip along. There's not a lot of animation in it, like moving things, but there's a lot of different scenes. So it doesn't feel like it stagnates on one specific like screen for too long, because you're always moving to like the school, the forest to investigate, and it's a mystery is what it is.
Yeah.
Every mission is a new mystery to solve, so you have to find the mystery of the sunken sailor or something like that, and then you go and you investigate people, and shit happens to you along the way. Random RNG events. You get items, you get power-ups, you get level ups. The RPG element is definitely present and prevalent. You equip like a weapon, a trinket, and I think a piece of armor or something like that. I didn't get really far. I didn't actually end up picking up a lot of stuff. I think maybe RNG wise, I wasn't hitting the items and stuff, but the combat is time based and turn based, time based. But what I mean by that is you have a certain, like, you have a bar, and it says to kick them you have 100 points. To kick them, it takes 20 points. So you'll see you'll select kick, and it'll take up like 20 points of that 100 point bar, right?
Right.
And then it'll say like, do you want like a 30 points? You have a guaranteed hit because they have hit percentages. Like a kick will hit 80% of the time, but if you spend 20 more points, it'll hit for sure. Like it'll be 100% hit, that kind of shit. So you have like turns. Your turn is like 2 kicks and stab them with a bottle, kind of a thing. As long as it fits within that. So that's how the turn-based combat works.
Cool.
Roguelite RPG. It was fun. I had a blast.
What's it cost? Did you say?
Oh, it is. Also, very important to mention always, it's still in early access.
Oh, okay.
Just to let you know. Yeah, still in early access. $14.99 on Steam. I think that's a fair price. From what I saw, the little over an hour and a half that I played it, I really enjoyed it. You can change the color scheme too to be. Oh, you moved on a little bit, or did I move on?
What? Keep talking. Ignore what's on the screen.
No,
yeah.
Oh, ignore it? Okay, good. I will ignore it. You can change the color scheme from World of Horror to be, it will always be like two-toned, like old school monitor toned, but you can change it to be like green or pink or blue or whatever like that. But it'll always be like.
It's always one tone.
Yeah, black and white.
Like Oberdin.
It's old school.
Yeah,
like very Oberdin-ish. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Next
Cool.
game, Assemble with Care.
Yep.
This game is by the creators of Monument Valley.
Okay. I've played that mobile game. Good game. Play it if you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From the studio that brought you Monument Valley comes a story about a globe-trotting antique restorer as she arrives in the sun-soaked town of Bella Riva. She has no idea just how broken it will turn out to be. This is a mobile game. I will say it, even though they sell it on Steam. This is definitely a mobile game. It's very light gameplay. With I think I said during my playing of this, it was like, I got a cool idea for a story. Hey, I got a cool idea for some like puzzle mechanic stuff. Oh, let's put them together. Okay. Because I need to pad out my thing and you need to pad out your thing. So let's pad out our thing together by making a game together. So it's pretty light on both ends. It's not bad for what it is, but it's also like Monument Valley was pretty fucking short. Like, how long did it take you to complete Monument Valley 1 and 2? Like maybe 3 hours for both, 4 hours for both.
It's definitely an airplane game.
Yeah. By Us 2 Games, it is $6.79. on
Yeah,
Steam right now
they're
if you
not
want to get
asking
it.
a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, it is on sale, normally $8, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't like super exciting, or the puzzles weren't terribly difficult. And I think there's like 13 or 14 chapters in the game, and I think I did like 6 or 7 of them in the hour that I played. And you basically like little like chunk of story, fix this thing, chunk of story, fix this thing, and they progressively get more difficult. But it's like how the difficulty goes is, all right, here's the circle block, put it in the circle hole. Now we're going to make it more difficult by giving you a circle and a square.
Gotcha.
But that's assemble with care. I'm guessing it's on mobile. I haven't checked, but I'm guessing it is.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Okay.
It might be maybe like an app. Actually, I don't want to say what it might be because it's probably not. So let's just move on. What is Iron Danger?
Yeah, I finally checked this one out. This one,
Ooh.
I saw some people playing Iron Danger. I think Dan was playing it. I'm not sure who else was playing it. Iron Danger, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. It looks like an ARPG. It looks like, this and that and the other thing. It's a strategy puzzle-ish kind of a game, like turn-based almost.
Really?
I ended up really enjoying it.
Huh.
The movement and moving around the game is very like Baldur's Gate ARPG kind of stuff, or CRPG, excuse me, right? Am I right in that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like the items on the floor, the way the camera looks and stuff like that. However, the whole premise of the game is when you get into battle, it's like there's a time stop mechanic, and you see those little bars at the bottom there of my screen. Those represent both characters. So you start off by I'm controlling one character, and then I eventually got 2 characters in battle. So and they're called the little sections are called heartbeats, and all the actions are spaced out in heartbeats. So like to swing your axe, 2 heartbeats. To put up your shield, 1 heartbeat. So basically, once you get into the battle, you stop, and then you go, I'm going to take 1 step forward. She's going to cast Fireball, which takes 3 heartbeats. And then she starts casting it, and it's like in the middle, like the 1 step is 1 heartbeat. On the 2nd step, I'm going to swing because I know that's 2 heartbeats. We'll get done at the same time or whatever. So you time out each attack. You can have like perfect battles if you time everything out correctly. And if you get hit or die, you go back to that heartbeat and do something else than that you were doing. So if you get like smacked in the face, you go like, nah, I'm gonna rewind that heartbeat and put up my shield at that moment. But the complexity I think comes in, and I've been playing, if you guys remember, Into the Breach, which was a grid based,
Right.
Grid based turn based thing. The difficulty comes when there's so many things happening at one specific time. There's no way to avoid like getting damaged or stuff like that. So I think that's where the difficulty eventually comes in, is they're throwing so many things at you at once that it's hard to like go, fuck, if I block that, this dagger's gonna hit me over here. Or if I smack that guy, my friend's gonna get, pummeled and stuff like that. So you like plan each heartbeat out. And it's cool when you actually get it, because you go back to the beginning and you're just like, clang, stab, fireball, boom, everything's blowing up. Like 1 step back, miss. Like it's cool to see it all in a row. It's kind of like editing a film.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, it was a fucking lot of fun.
You know how long it is? Like, is there a decent amount of gameplay here, or is it a small amount of levels?
Seems like it would be.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it is, but it is developed by Action Squad Studios, published by Daedalic, who's published a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
It is $34.99 normally. It's on sale right now for $29.74.
Gotcha.
So it's, as far as like the indie titles go, it's a little on the higher end price wise, but it's if it's an RPG like it is, like I would assume that there's a lot of content.
Chad also says fully voiced.
I don't know.
So seems like production values are
That's
really
a big
good.
plus.
Oh yeah.
Big plus.
They just grabbed everybody. They were like, all right, I need my stereotypical gruff Cockney English guy. Put him
Got
in
him.
there. All right. Innocent heroine who's eager for adventure. Okay, put you in there. And then and the voices are pretty stock. Like even the villains are like, yes, I will get you and I will destroy. And I'm like, oh god, come on, dude.
Yeah,
It's fun. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's
not
fun.
bad. It's just overused.
No, it's not bad. No,
Yeah.
cheesy
Campy.
doesn't mean bad.
Yeah, campy,
Yeah.
cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I think that was it. Yeah, you went to use your words. So another Indie Sunday wrapped up.
Yeah.
Co, we need to talk about Ori. We haven't talked about the end of Ori 2, and you finally finished it. So I finally have someone to talk Ori 2 about with. Hell of a game. Really good game.
Hell of a game. Some really hard parts in it. A couple pretty tough bosses. A difficult escape sequence or two. But man, it was great all the way through. Amazing music, amazing visuals, storytelling that is second to none in a video game, like in terms of presentation and how it goes. And the music just glorious.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. And then the ending too was just it was something else.
Yeah.
It was something else. Yeah, it was a good game.
It's a really good
Very
game.
much hope for a next one. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, they could definitely continue with something for sure. Strippin, did you ever play Ori? Did you? I don't know if you checked out Ori or not.
I haven't done Ori or Ori 2. No.
Okay. They could probably fill like 2 to 3 streams, I think, if you tried to play them all at the same time.
I know Dodgers played them, and she said,
"Oh, that's right."
Made her feel a lot of feelings.
Did she finish too?
So, she did. Yeah, she liked it.
I remember I caught.
I think she did. Yeah.
I definitely caught her playing it, and it was during the explanation as to why the bad guy is a bad guy in the game, and she was just full on sobbing. So the game definitely knows how to get the emotions out of you without a doubt, and they double down on that towards the end, 100%. They know what the fuck they're doing.
Things.
Yeah, it's hell of a thing. Ko, you kind of talked about how they had some like escape sequences. If you've played Ori 1, some of that stuff returns. I felt like this one more than the first one, though. They like played through them thousands upon thousands of times, so that it made the player feel like they're barely just getting by in all the right ways. Not necessarily that it was difficult, because the checkpointing system is so good that you're just right back into the action if you die. But you're like on the edge of your seat and like making what seems like pixel perfect, although if you watch a speedrunner do it, it's going to be a laugh fest and make everyone look like terrible players. But for the casual playthrough, it makes it seem like you're a fucking god when it comes to platforming, and that's a really good feeling when developers can do that type of stuff, and it's not easy to do whatsoever. And they kind of do that 2 or 3 times toward the end of the game, where the difficulty ramps up, I think, exponentially more than the rest of the game. But hell of a thing. Yeah, hell of a thing. How much is Ori? Is like $20 or $15, I think. I don't think it's a full
The first or the second?
I guess both. I don't know which one.
Ori and the Will of Wisp is 30.
Okay.
And Ori and the Blind Forest is 20.
Okay.
Definitive edition.
Also, it's free with Game Pass. We should also mention that. So if you want to get Game Pass for, I don't know, $1 a month or $5, whatever, you'll get access to that stuff.
Both are really, really good games.
Yes, definitely worth playing if you have not played them before. And you like platformers specifically. They're very, very good. We got like 5 minutes. I'll throw some random news in here. Nier Replicant remaster was announced. I didn't realize there was. I've heard this game's soundtrack because they played it at the orchestra that I went to, but I thought that this was from Nier Gestalt, which I guess is the second one in the Nier world.
Yeah.
Has any of you guys played Replicant, like the first Nier? I guess I didn't even know it was a thing.
Never played it.
Strippin, did you ever check it out?
No. I think you would have had to have imported it to have played it. I don't think it ever came to the West.
Oh, chat saying Gestalt and Replicant are the same game. That's not confusing or anything.
Maybe different.
Same game, different MCs. Wait, what? Main character?
So
Oh,
Replicant
they're
and
the same
Gestalt,
game, different protagonist.
they're different versions of the same game. Yeah, okay. So Gestalt is the one
Mm.
that I know of because you play like an older guy, if I recall.
Okay, that's why I thought. Yeah, the one that they're doing a remake of was the Japanese version, and Gestalt was the Western version with a different protagonist. Apparently,
Gotcha.
Huh.
Okay, that's not confusing at all or anything. Anyways,
No.
they're remastering Replicant. Hell of a soundtrack. No idea what the game will actually play.
Yeah.
Like, never played it, never even seen it. So we'll see how that goes. What else is out there? We had some Randy Pitchford news break, kind of at the
Oh,
start of the show.
God.
Have you read about that stuff? I was trying to catch
Of
catch up on
course.
Twitter.
Of course.
What's going on with Randy Pitchford and Borderlands?
So Borderlands is kind of like a waiting service here in the United States where they pay you less, but then you get, extra bonuses and wait for waiters, it's like tips. But for Gearbox workers, it's a split of the profits of their game sale. So basically what happened is that the Gearbox uses that as a big like come work for us tool. Is it's like because for Borderlands 2 it was huge and like employees bought houses and it was a big deal. So for the last little bit, Gearbox has been very public about the fact that Borderlands is a $1 billion franchise and Borderlands 3 sold really well and everything's great. Well, then apparently at a board meeting that recently happened, Randy was like, "Yeah, so those bonuses are going to be a lot smaller than people are thinking." And basically goes on to say that the company has grown a bunch and that there were unforeseen like Battleborn, I don't remember that game, and
Jesus.
and Colonel Marine and all that stuff didn't sell well, and now he's trying to like significantly downplay what apparently a lot of Gearbox employees were expecting to be a large payday. So he is understandably getting a little bit of pushback on this. So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
mainly because he took what was it, a $12 million bonus when they started developing Borderlands 3.
Nice.
So that's where their money is. It's in his bank account.
Great.
Randy.
Yeah, good job there. A lot of good stuff coming out of that whole place. Just some positive news and a positive time, without a doubt. That's crazy.
I heard he stood up at the board meeting and was like, "Watch me make all of your money disappear."
I'm not going to laugh at that. That's a
No?
bad one. That's
Okay.
that's dark.
Oof.
It's too dark.
Breaking news: Borderlands 4 to be made in MS Paint because they have no one left.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Good luck to everyone out there dealing with that shit. That's a bad hand to be
seriously,
dealt.
like Gearbox, the employees at Gearbox are they're hardworking, good folks. So it's definitely unfortunate to see this happen to them, especially with all the other stuff going on. And yeah,
Tough times for
best
sure.
of vibes to them. Hope it works out.
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, you might have mentioned it, but did he have any excuse or reason for it?
Oh, he had a lot of reasons. Basically, like they've opened up new studios. The production team is much larger now than it was, say, back when Borderlands 2 was. They did I don't like this is all just in the article. Who knows what actually was said, but there's also been a lot. They had two failures before Borderlands 3. Like Battleborn was a big game and a lot of money got sunk into it and it really kind of flopped magnificently. So there's reasons that the bonus will apparently be less, but how less and what people were expecting and all that stuff is all going to be private information. We'll probably never know.
Yeah. Okay.
Shitty for sure. Well, in the final minutes here, we're going to do something that we haven't done. A lot of people watch the show for games to play, and there's a lot of time to play games. So I'm going to go around here. Everyone choose one game, and that's the game you recommend for the week for everyone to play. Doesn't matter when it came out, what it is, but just choose a game. Strippin, since you're the guest and you won't be back next week, you get to start, and we'll make fun of you. Go ahead.
God of War.
Damn it, you son of a bitch. I was going to say that.
You say God of War?
He said God of War.
Fucking back.
Okay,
You let me go
okay.
first. This is on you.
This is on me, you know?
This is like when you had something planned for show and tell, and the other kid does your thing, and then you.
This
you
is
gotta, like,
exactly
whack your
what's that.
pocket.
Yeah, that's
Good luck,
100%.
bitch.
That's actually real. That's what this is. Zeke, what's your one game for people to check out?
If you haven't yet, E5 Royal.
Came out
Persona
this week.
5 Royal. If you're going to be inside and you got nothing but time on your hands, there's a couple hundo for you.
Yeah, for sure. Co, what about you? What's your one game?
Speaking of a couple hundo, if you've never played it yet, now's a great time to play Pathfinder Kingmaker.
That's a pretty
It
good.
takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of time. It's a good time to do it, and if you can get involved in that, you have a 6-act epic tale to work through, tons to explore, to do, to learn, to see. It's a pretty phenomenal game, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah. So we got. Let's see here. We've got an action arcade, or more like an action arcade cinematic story from Strippin. We've got a Weeb JRPG from Zeke. We've got a CRPG from Co. We haven't, whatever, I guess like FPSs, we haven't done an FPS. What's an FPS people should play?
I was expecting to be
Are
like,
you
I
purposely
recommend
ignoring
getting
chat?
over it.
Getting over would be good. What was that, Zeke?
Are you purposely ignoring chat because they're all saying the same thing?
Oh, no. What were they all? I'm seeing Doom.
Well, they were.
Doom's great.
Now
I'd play
they're-
Doom.
They would say Final Fantasy 14 before that.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I would say that, but I would wait because they're getting ready to patch 5.3, which is going to change the beginning of the game, which is generally what people don't like about that. So I would just wait for that patch to come out. We're probably going to still be in quarantine when it comes out. So just
My big
wait.
runner-up, by the way, would be now's also a great time to learn how to play RimWorld if you never have.
Yeah,
1.1
that's a good
update
one.
and Royalty DLC. I mean, you can lose hundreds and hundreds of hours in that game if you want to.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
definitely
want to
good.
learn it, but I'm scared.
Dude, I jumped in Strippin completely blind with just kind of like what Co and Zeke have talked about on the show. I had no issue whatsoever. The tutorial does enough to guide you down a path that then chat can kind of take you from there. And the other thing is, that game's all about failure. Like, you're going to fail.
It is.
And
dude.
you're going to learn, and then you're going to restart, and you're going to
I had
fail.
a 20-plus hour streamer colony fail spectacularly last night. The entire colony got overrun by bugs and died in a 5-minute period that I've been working on for like 20-plus hours. First thing I did was like, cool, start a new game. Let's go. Learned a lot from that one. Let's get started. So, like, it's part of the game, man. Part of the game.
Yep. I would say check that out. I'd say play Doom. If you haven't played Doom 2016, play that. Play the new Doom Eternal. Valorant comes out apparently next week. You can watch streams this weekend to get access to it. That'll probably be a big thing that people are into. And if you haven't played that Call of Duty Blackout and you're an FPS guy, it's free. You can download it. It's 138 gigs, so that kind of sucks to download right now. But if you don't mind downloading that, it's a free BR and it's actually quite good. So that's what I would say everyone checks out. Let's do some shout outs. Or not Blackout, sorry, Warzone. Blackout was the previous BR. Warzone is the one that you want. Too many names of BRs. Strippin, do some shout outs for us. Thanks for coming on the show. What are you going to be playing? What are you going to be streaming? What's going on?
Yelling over Co the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing some Mountain Blade, I think, for the rest of the week. Probably try Last Oasis. I'm kind of just in cruise control until Final Fantasy. You can find me over at twitch.tv/strippin.
There you go. Check
every
them
day
out.
from 7 GMT.
Should be a giant follow button on the screen. Make sure you hit it. Zeke, do some shout outs for us.
Will do. What's up, everybody? Thank you to Strippin for coming on the show, man. Appreciate hearing about games that I don't really dip my toe into too often, but it's always nice to hear a new and fresh perspective. And the beard, as always, is glorious. Thank you to Co and JP for being my co-host. If you want to catch me, I will be on actually later. No, I won't be on, but I will be broadcasting sort of later. It's a weird thing.
What's going on here? What are you doing?
What the fuck?
Are you trying to sell us a pyramid scheme? What's going on
Jesus fucking Christ, let me explain. I should have started here. Gone, the role-playing show, will be on after this. I don't know if I'm going to be on or not. You have to watch and find out, but that's on twitch.tv/tablestory. But after that, my girlfriend Katie and her best friend are traveling from Maryland to Colorado, and I will be helping them. They're going to be video calling me, and I will be broadcasting to her channel from my PC. That's what I meant.
Huh.
So it's not going to be on my channel. It's going to be on hers. So she can work from the road and not have to like worry about connection problems because I'll be streaming from here.
Right.
So that's what's happening then. And then tomorrow I'm back to Persona 4 Golden. Fuck off, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Code. Do some shout outs.
Absolutely. As always, thank you to Zeke and JP, and a big thank you to Strippin for coming out today. My name is Ko. Hi, if I haven't seen you before. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be doing Mountain Blade Warband. I'm going to be starting about an hour late, but we should have a nice 4+ hour block coming at you. I'm off tomorrow afternoon watching my kids. So we'll have some Pathfinder Kingmaker with Pasco. And Friday morning, we start our Resident Evil 3 remake playthrough. We're going to be checking that out probably most of Friday. Then as we go into the weekend, we'll probably have more RimWorld evening streams. We'll probably have a lot more Mountain Blade because I'm really loving that game. And who else? Who knows what else? We got a lot of stuff on the list. So we'll have more. Oh, I call it Warband again? Bannerlord. I'm sorry, I keep calling it Mountain Blade 2 Warband. Or Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.
Cool. Last but not least, it's me with the. Make sure you just read this whole thing so you don't just think I'm an asshole. Also, after this, I'm going to be checking out Mountain Blade 2. Strippin and Co. sold me on it, so we'll see how that goes. And if I don't like it, then I'll send them an invoice for making me buy the game. That's how it usually happens. Tomorrow, we got Echoes of Eternity. Strippin will be back on the channel with Jesse Cox at the helm, doing some Star Wars RPGing. I'll be playing Resident Evil 3 for the 5 or 6 hours that it's going to take, like Co. on Friday, if you want to check that out. Saturday, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing. Hopefully I like Mountain Blade. I might start Persona 5 Royale early. I don't know. I kind of want to, but I kind of don't want to because I'm going to have to put it down regardless for Final Fantasy 7 Remake next week. And that might be like 2 weeks off. I don't want to, it's weird to like jump into a middle of a game and then jump away and then come back. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully Mountain Blade can keep me satisfied for the next week or so before Final Fantasy 7 Remake. But we will see. We'll figure it out. And we'll let you guys know what's going on. But for now, that's it. Also, I think we have another pre-show on Monday with Rami, Reb Ford, and Morgan Webb. So we're trying to get that confirmed and let you guys know when that'll be going down 100%. But that'll most likely be Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. But we're not 100% locked in. So follow me on Twitter, and I'll have that confirmation in hopefully the next couple of hours. That's it for Drop Frames. Next week, Elspeth is going to be joining us, I do believe. So make sure to check that out. And then we're going to try to get Barry on here to really get to the bottom of all these tech issues that we've been having here on the show.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the new mod. Mod mode.
Well, I wanted to, it's so new. I don't know. Have you guys even checked it out? I wanted to give some time so we can actually get some feedback on it because I haven't talked to my mods on it. But I am curious to see if it's good. It looks good, but we'll talk about it next week. We'll kind of jump into it for sure. So that's it for Drop Frames. We'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your week. We're out. Bye-bye.